Welcome to Do Your Worst.
Yay!
All right, we are so excited to be here. We are your hosts, James and
Mallory.
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 Mallory. And we were so excited to have our guest here. This is Charlie.
Hi.
Charlie's a real writer.
She's our first
these
real
fake
writer.
guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She's done at least one thing.
Yeah.
12 things in January. 12 books in January.
That is wild.
My goodness.
I tried
And
really hard.
we have Charlie's friend.
Yes, that's
nice.
me.
Adam, can you introduce Charlie for us?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
Charlie.
embarrass her.
I'm interested in what you're going to say.
Charlie is an individual human woman.
It's true.
She lives here in Utah with her husband and 2 kids and her dog. First published September 1st, 2014.
Yeah, good job. Looking
Hold on. You've published 12 books since
Yeah,
14.
I have
in
no
5
hobbies
years.
or talent.
Oh my gosh.
Full-time job.
Okay, well, your full-time job is a hobby and a talent.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
you've got
There
all
you
of
go.
them wrapped into one big Joe.
One big Joe. So she's best known for the Paper Magician series, which is great. And her most recent book came out. It's called Siege and Sacrifice, but it's the 3rd book in the how do you say it? Numina?
Numina.
The Numina trilogy. So this, if for our YouTube viewers, is the first book, Smoke and Summons.
It's Pokemon meets magical fidget spinners.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My goodness.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, her work is legit, guys.
Yeah.
Check it out. She's even had the magic.
The Paper Magician series, optioned by Disney. It's optioned by Disney right now.
Yay.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
She has another book coming out in January.
I do. It's called The
Um,
Will and the Wild. It has 12 kissing scenes in it. I'm very proud.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, there you go.
12 kissing scenes. So why
That's
number
more kissing
them?
scenes
Is it-
than
is
I've
it-
ever
is it-
read.
James loves chapter books. So I'm curious about the kissing scenes. Is it significant for you?
Well, so I write fantasy and I write romance. And so for me, it's like if a book doesn't have kissing in it, I don't read it.
Oh,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
a really bad person that way. Actually,
No.
this is the only book I have that doesn't have kissing in it.
Oh,
Oh.
is that hard?
It's leading up.
Is that the
It's better
spectrum?
kissing.
Like 0 to 12?
Yeah.
For sure.
Is it
You
12?
gotta, it's all slow build.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really
Slow
important.
build is how you do it.
Is it 12 kissing scenes because it's your 12th book?
I didn't even think about
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to use that in advertising.
the
No,
12
like-
kissing scenes.
And-
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Since we're on a podcast about writing and writing failure, did you write any books that didn't get published? Did
Oh,
you?
yeah.
How many? Like, what was your experience? I'd love to hear about
Oh
how
my
you
gosh.
got to your
I don't know if I've actually
2014
counted.
publication.
So my first book that I published was my 9th one I finished.
Oh wow!
And so I did end up publishing my 6th one, but all the other ones went to a dumpster fire.
Mm.
And then it's like funny because once you're published, you think you've made it, but I've had a bunch of books still turned down.
Right.
And so I
Right.
haven't counted them.
Wait, you've
'Cause
written
I
more
like
than 12
myself.
books since you've been published?
That's a very
Oh,
good
yeah, yeah.
question.
So, but like, either I'm like,
you-
this is a dumpster fire and I get rid of it, or my agent says
okay.
this is crap, or my publisher's like, no, thank you. And then I self-publish it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
But
Love it.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe like I haven't gotten published. I finished maybe like 13 or
Oh.
14.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So
That
And
I've done my worst many times.
Yeah.
there you go. There you go.
As
Well,
we will
and it's-
see shortly.
it's often very subjective. I mean, I think that's
It
something
is,
we're
yeah.
discovering reading bad writing. I feel like
Yeah.
we almost always are like, well, is this bad or is this? It's just like there's this nugget in it that we really like,
Yeah.
and like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean. And you never
The
know.
subjectivity does make it really hard. Like
Oh,
even when
yeah.
we bring stuff,
Yeah.
half the time other people are like, "There's a lot of great stuff in there," and you're like, "Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
well, I
there could be."
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Yeah.
technically I feel like bad writing might just be like giving up. Is that crazy?
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Did you learn something from the failures that you applied to the ones
Oh,
that
from
you
ones of
published?
my failures?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, I finally learned how to write a proactive protagonist,
Mm-mm.
you know, which took me 4 books to
Okay.
figure out.
I totally get that.
So
There you
it's
go.
like, oh, the main character has to do something.
Yes, they have to
I
make
get
mistakes.
that.
They have to. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm terrible
Get
at that.
dirty.
'Cause I want
Everything
my
Miss
characters to be
Frizzle told us.
likable. So I'm
Yeah.
like, they can't do anything wrong.
It's
crazy, though, because
But
That's
they can,
what
though.
makes characters
Every
likable.
rule there is, you can break.
Yeah.
You just have to break it in the right way.
Yeah.
So.
Teach me your ways.
Do you ever go back to like your published work and be like, well, I would have done this differently?
I can't read Paper Magician anymore.
Oh, really?
Like I tried to start reading it because I wrote a companion novel to that series, and so I was going to reread them for research. I couldn't get past the first page.
Oh, really?
So I was like, the pacing is so bad. Why are there dialogue tags everywhere? And I couldn't.
See.
And so whenever somebody tells me that they like that book, I'm like, okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I think I read it last year and was like, this is really great. I really enjoyed it.
Wait till you read that one.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Stop
That's
it.
amazing.
They're all full of blood.
For someone who isn't a novelist, what's a dialogue tag?
So he said, she exclaimed.
Okay, and
Stuff
so
like that.
too many of those
There's
is
just too many of them.
bad form.
Yeah. Because you could even say, Mallory walked into the room. What are you doing here? You know Mallory said it.
Right.
Because the sentence says it.
So it doesn't always have to be he said, she said.
So you don't have to say he said, she, oh my gosh, she
Yeah.
said on every single
On the
one.
seashore.
See
On the
exclaimed.
seashore, she said.
Because what does that do to the reader as they're reading through and there's too many of those? Is it like
It
they
just
get
can get
distracted
really
or-
repetitious.
Repetitious,
Like, especially
yeah.
if you're in a dialogue heavy scene.
Yeah.
It's just really repetitious.
And so it kind of takes you out of the world,
Yeah.
maybe, or you're.
And it's just like, it just reads less pretty, especially if you're
Okay.
listening to the audiobook and she's like, she said, he said, she said, she said.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
stop talking.
Yeah.
Turn it
Awesome.
off.
Well, we like to present the bad stuff that we make on the podcast itself. So I'm so excited that you brought a couple of things to share.
Yeah.
If you'd like, we can get warmed up with what Adam brought
we can
and
start
then
with
get
me.
into your stuff.
You can also read my 500,000 word long fanfic. That's on fanfiction.net. It'll just take a few hours.
What?
Oh,
500,000 words.
They always say the first million words you write are garbage, and my first million was all fanfiction.
What fan fiction of what?
It's an anime called Fushigi Yugi. That's the big one.
That's a great
Which is
name.
also what I'm reading today, but it's separate.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
Oh my goodness, I'm
Surprise.
excited.
That
That's
is
amazing.
incredible.
All right.
I will never tell anyone what my pen name is on that because I don't want anyone to read it.
How many
Yeah.
of those words is he said, she said?
Probably at least 233,000.
Oh, I love it.
This week's episode is brought to you by The Glow Up Tour. Guys, this is JK Studios' first tour. We're going to go on the road and perform never before seen stuff. So get your tickets at jkstudiostour.com. It's October 8th through the 21st. Hope to see you there.
Okay, all right, Adam.
Little background.
Share your good, bad stuff.
Yeah. And for anyone who knows, I have finished a book. I'm trying to get it published. This is not it. Please don't confuse the two. Okay. Chapter 1. Al took one step forward. It was the last step he would ever take with his own 2 feet. The feet, however, had many more steps to go before passing on to the next life. In the not too distant future, they will be donated to and transplanted onto a man with a machete and very poor vision.
Oh, wow.
Al
We just got right into it.
Al's vision, on the other hand, was above average, but unfortunately aimed in the wrong direction. Unbeknown to his eyes, but painfully obvious to the rest of his body, a meteorite struck him. It was a miracle. Al just so happened to have been standing next to a podiatrist who was wasted no time preserving his disembodied feet.
There's so much information.
Unfortunately, the neurosurgeon, cardiologist, and wig maker accompanying the podiatrist couldn't salvage anything.
Very good specificity. You
Yeah,
have
very
to
good
admit.
specificity.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah, a lot to.
Real quick, did
Yeah.
the meteorite hit him in the eyeballs? Or is it that he wasn't looking
That
when the
wasn't
meteorite...
looking when it hit.
Yeah.
Was it because he had eyes like a chameleon? That's what I was picturing based on...
The one place
That's
he
a
couldn't
weird
see is
image.
where the
Yeah.
Where the
meteorite came
meteorite
from.
was.
Yeah. This is one blind spot.
Okay, proceed.
The media almost burst with excitement. News anchors ranted and
Almost
raved about the
burst.
crash. I know.
Almost.
It was almost
It was
exciting.
almost really cool.
But in the
It was
next
about,
sentence,
as about
they
to
they were
decided
ranting
not
and
to.
raving. The news anchors ranted and raved about the crash, the feat, and the possibility of alien overlords.
Mm.
I don't know why, though.
Were they riding the
Because,
meteorite?
you know, the meteor.
Yeah, it's a meteorite.
That always
Space.
comes with the
Yeah.
aliens.
There's space.
The day prior, one extraordinarily lucky astrologist predicted that all Leo should steer clear of outside influences, else their feet might get pointed in the wrong direction. She was quickly promoted. In fact, 4 out of 5 lunatics agreed that this was unequivocally a warning to a Mr. Ronaldo Al Donald, the sole victim of the crash. The 5th lunatic, interestingly enough, was a dentist.
Okay.
Wait,
Yep.
only one person died and it was Ronald?
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be because people are always like 4 out of 5 dentists?
Yeah, that's what I
Got
was
it.
going for.
There's a lot of
It's-
very clever things happening.
Yeah.
I know.
All on top of each other.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just saying this
right.
is a short
It's
story.
very
Mhm.
That's interesting.
mushed. After a mere 5 minutes, the news had reached the other side of the world. As it turns out, the event took place at 7:42 a.m. local time, which was 9:42 p.m. in Beijing, therefore making it just in time for the 10 o'clock news. Due to such haste, news correspondents had to rely on a man who took a couple classes online to translate. At 10:07, because
Wait,
no one in
did it
Beijing
happen
speaks
in like
English.
Japan if Beijing's 2 hours away? Or is it 14 hours
It's
away?
14 hours.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that you could have that much of a time scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
It's at 10:07 p.m. Beijing time. Nearly 1 billion people believe that a giant bag of dog food spontaneously materialized in America and killed a man's foot.
Okay.
At
Is this
so
like
many
lost in
times.
translation?
Yeah. Or like,
Yeah.
you know,
It was like because the guy
the news is
didn't
being
really
misinterpreted.
translate. Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Okay.
10:09 p.m. I don't know why this is all the times are that important.
Mm.
Every single one of those people forgot about the incident and listened to the reports on plans to breed pandas who not only could, but also wanted to use chopsticks. 5 out of 5 lunatics agreed this project was worthy of government funding. Little did Al or the rest of the world know that in the exact same moment that Al was obliterated, precisely one other person in the world died. His name was Wes Towner, and his death was far less interesting. He had just returned to his home with a bag of dog food for his new pet, Panda. Wes's neighbors decided to move across the country in hopes of becoming the first famous kazoo family band, and so gave Panda to him. Wes poured the food into a bowl, turned around, slipped, and knocked himself unconscious. At the time, he didn't realize that in the chaos of the fall, a chopstick wound up lodged inside something that was inside him, and that something was keeping him alive.
Oh my God.
What?
He
It-
ate something
he ate
that was
something?
big enough to have a chopstick in it.
No, I
think
thought he landed on one.
He landed
Yeah,
on it. Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
And
It's
it pierced
a little-
the thing he swallowed.
But we don't know which
It's-
body part it's in.
No, it's in
No.
a body part.
Yes,
I don't know
of course.
why I thought that was clever. Like, it's something that's
Well,
in
everybody
something.
is thinking it's the butt because
It's
you
very
didn't say
clever.
it.
I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
Everyone's
And
thinking
his
that.
butt
Because
was
it's my
keeping him
secret.
alive.
You're
Specific
being very
Seinfeld
coy.
episode is
Yeah.
coming
We
to
know
mind
it's
right
the
now.
butt.
In a most noble attempt to save his new master, Panda tried to remove the chopstick, but found himself genetically incapable of properly handling it. In this moment, Al and Wes did something together for the very first time. They died.
Oh
And
my
that's it. That's
That's
how
it.
it starts.
I kind of like it.
I like that.
Okay, so here's the thing, though. It's like I feel like it's a novel made out of news headlines,
Right.
Yeah.
in a bizarre world.
Isn't that
Yeah.
So it's just like constant new
It's-
information that's
yeah.
like really like exciting. So if you read it with 4 people stopping every couple sentences,
Oh,
To
it's a
explain
great
what's
book.
going on.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they did with World War Z? Wasn't it written like all in news
I haven't read it.
headlines
Oh,
or something like
either.
that?
I
or
heard
in
it's
news
kind of
articles,
that.
maybe, or
I
I
think
feel
it
like
might
what
be
you should
probably
do is put
articles.
like 20 like asterisks in here and have just like
Yeah.
Oh.
3 pages of cliff notes
Yeah.
as part of the story.
Footnotes and stuff.
That's
for
just the
sure.
most
very funny.
inconvenient way to read anything.
I think that would
Just
be
like
the greatest short story.
Seriously, that would be really, really funny.
a short story with asterisks, and each one of those has asterisks. Like it's the length of
Yeah.
a novel, but it's a short story.
Yeah.
I also really like the last line.
Oh, thank you.
You
I
know,
don't remember what it was.
They
Yeah.
did something together for the first time. They died.
Oh,
Yeah.
aw.
Yeah.
There's a very
Well, the first line too was
yeah.
really great.
Yeah. It's dang it. I'm blanking on his name, but he's like famous comedic British author.
Douglas Adams.
Well, Douglas Adams, but then the other guy who
Terry Pratchett.
Terry Pratchett.
You know what I was gonna say at the very beginning? I was like, this is like Terry Pratchett on Fast Forward.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
On Fast Forward. Exactly. It's like
Oh, I
there's
haven't thought about that.
definitely a lot of very clever, fun things happening. And I felt like that when I
Yeah.
read Hitchhiker's Guide as well, you know,
Yeah,
with,
right.
which is
I did-
Douglas Adams.
What really happened to his feet? I guess you said they were donated to like somebody
Yeah.
with a hatchet or
Yeah.
machete. A machete.
So
Right,
it
yeah.
took, even rereading it for the podcast, I was like, I'm having a trouble understanding this. And it
It
came
is hard
out
to
of
follow.
my brain.
Yeah. No. I get that a lot.
Yeah.
But I think what I wrote is that the meteorite hit him. The only thing that survived was his feet, and then his feet got reattached to another guy.
I want to end on the
Who?
other guy.
who
What?
I
had
want to
like
know about the guy with the
The guy
Right.
with the feet, the newfound feet.
yeah.
But I just don't know why it wasn't just totally saved by all the timestamps.
I know, so many
Right?
timestamps. I think that
Yeah.
paragraph has like 5 different times in it. I was like, this is boring and unnecessary. But
I mean, what's worse, timestamps or dialogue tags?
Hey, don't bring that up. That was
It's a sensitive
a private
subject.
moment.
All right, well, speaking of dialogue tags, let's get into Charlie's work.
All right.
Yeah.
I really want to hear this.
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys doing with my car? For the first time in the history of our friendship, we're going on tour.
All you need to do is go to jkstudiostour.com to get your tickets.
Fine. What's the website? James, we went over this. jkstudiostour.com.
JK Studios Tour.
jkstudiostour.com. We're calling it the Glow Up Tour!
All right. I'll go wake everyone else up. Everyone else lives here?
Yes!
I used to do a lot of fan fiction, and so have you guys heard of like Mary Sue fan fiction?
No, what is that?
So Mary Sue is when the person writing it is basically inserting themselves into the story and everything's about them and they're so perfect and so wonderful because like they're living their fantasy life
Oh,
in their
okay.
fan fiction,
Sure.
which my 500,000 word one totally is.
Yeah.
Mary Sue.
Oh my gosh.
When I wrote this, I was really into this anime called Fushigi Yugi, which I tried to rewatch in college and it was awful. But I loved it this time. This is like the first chapter. I never finished it, but here, all right. The school bell finally rang, and all the children in Oakdale Junior High were free to roam around their afternoons however they wanted. However, one tall, skinny, yet curvy, voluptuous girl with long auburn hair didn't want to go to the movies or other hangouts her peers loved. She wanted to go to her favorite gathering, the local library, Whitmore. What a long day, her lovely voice said as she stepped up to the doors of the library.
Her voice said,
Her voice talks a lot.
Holding a stack of returns. With some trouble, she opened the glass door, stepping inside the quiet building. She wished she had a friend to hold the door for her, but oddly enough, in all of her 16 years, she didn't have even one, even though she was a very kind and generous person.
She's perfect, but nobody liked her.
nobody likes me because I'm perfect.
I'm returning these, she said to the librarian at the counter. Ah, Mary Sue, so nice to see you.
Oh, so you're
Mary
just,
Sue,
you're
you
just
went for
admitting
it.
I went for it.
Respect that.
The middle-aged woman smiled, accepting the books from the shy, yet inwardly brave and courageous girl's hand.
Inwardly brave and courageous girl.
You've read just about every book in the library, the librarian commented. You must be a really bright girl. Mary Sue blushed. Oh, I'm really not. Humble, too.
Wait. How old is she? And
She's in junior high.
Middle
She's-
school,
It's
right?
like 15.
Okay.
That's like the
She's-
golden age of anime.
Yeah.
All anime
Okay.
characters are 15.
And she's read like an entire
library. She's like Matilda.
Matilda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. With that done, Mary Sue took off gracefully through the aisles and aisles of books. Most she had read, in case you forgot. Even the World Encyclopedia and Luke Hawthorne's Guide to Gynecology. I obviously thought that was funny.
Yeah.
It is funny.
She passed a flight of stairs that somehow in all the time she'd been in the library she hadn't seen before. Curious, she looked around to see if anyone was looking and darted up the stairs. They led straight to a door that read, "Do not enter, not open for public." Still curious, she tried the lock. It was open. It just so happened that earlier that morning, the janitor had opened the always locked door on his shift, cleaning hinges.
All right.
The always
Cleaning
locked door.
hinges.
Always locked door.
Yeah, unlock the always locked door.
This door that never opens. The hinges need cleaning.
Mary Sue and the always locked door.
That's a good title.
Yeah.
It's good middle grade. She stepped inside the dark room, closing the door quietly behind her. She flipped on the light and looked at 3 shelves full of books. She got very excited. I haven't read any of these, she exclaimed. She went between shelves, and a particular book instantly caught her eye. It was written in ancient Chinese, and Mary just happened to know all the kanji. Which, by the way, well, you know that the average Chinese person can't read a newspaper until they're 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Oh, man.
Mary's
Also, they're
just
not
so
called kanji in Chinese.
yeah, they're called kanji in Japanese, not in
Oh.
Chinese. Do you know what they're called in Chinese?
Hanzu.
Yeah, but she's so
Hanzu.
smart.
She's
She
so
knows
smart.
Chinese
She can
kanji.
read it. All of it. You need to know like 5,000 to 6,000 characters.
Wow.
And
God, it's
and
annoying.
even students in college are learning new characters.
Wow.
But she could do it. Mary
how does this end?
Mary Sue could do it. What?
Yeah.
How does this end?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, is that it?
No,
Oh,
that's not it. That's
James.
That's a few more paragraphs.
Hi.
Panic.
Universe of the Four Gods, she read opening the book. The book was brought by Inosuke Okuda from China to Japan, but miraculously had materialized in an American library, sensing the presence of Mary Sue.
Oh.
Whoever reads the story will have her wishes granted. She's reading that. That's in quotes.
Oh.
Mary Sue asked rhetorically. She turned the page. Suddenly, a bright light flew out of the book, the call of a bird echoing through the room, yet no one else heard it, except the librarian, who also knows Chinese and later becomes the narrator.
Oh my gosh.
Ah, it's so red and bright, Mary Sue exclaimed, still holding the book. I hope it doesn't take me to another world. But to her dismay, she disappeared from the library.
I hope it doesn't take me to another world. I love how she's exclaiming all of the exposition.
That's so good.
I've never read any of these.
Yeah. And this is,
Whew.
well, delightful.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
also separate from that 500,000 word Fishigi fan.
It's separate.
Well, I can't think of the word.
Fushu gushu bushi.
Shigi Yugi.
Fishy Yugi.
Yeah.
Fushy gushy.
It's so good.
Your lips like
Gush,
quiver.
gushy fishy.
Yugi.
Says what?
Gushy fishy.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm just
This is
mispronouncing things.
part of knowing James. This is getting
Okay.
talked to and nonsense.
Got
it.
Yeah.
I want to know how you felt about this at the time you wrote it.
I don't know, because I think I was trying to be like satirical.
Oh, yeah.
I assume.
It
This
was
is
very
That
literally
line
low.
about
half
the
my life
narrator at
ago.
the end.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that you write at first. You just don't know like how much you're just copying things that you've read
Right.
that you thought were cool or
Mhm.
whatever.
Well, and like wish fulfillment stuff.
Oh, yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally my first several books were just wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank
Seriously,
Um,
great
It's
though.
so
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, I'm curious, you reading that now, because I bet you would find more fault with it than I would. I'm curious about the stuff that is like makes
Well,
you cringe.
it's funny.
the
The
most.
things
Yeah.
like I didn't think it was like when you said her voice said. I'm like, oh yeah. Like I
great.
didn't even catch that this time.
It's great.
You know, like yeah. I don't know. I mean, if I wrote it again, it would be better. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You were already good though. Like things like giving her a
Thanks.
reason to be excited about being in that room
Mhm.
versus just like, oh, is this door open? Like you know, there's a
This
lot
door,
of writing.
I wonder if it's open.
That's
I'll
like
just
that,
walk over.
including some of my writing. I feel like my characters are just like, I'm going to do what the author tells me to do.
Yeah.
Instead of having actual desires or things that they enjoy. I just feel like you did a
Yeah.
lot of things right. There's
Yeah.
just like a
Thank
lot
you.
of delightful
Which is funny because
lines.
in my later writing, I do all those things wrong.
Mm.
Oh.
So
Oh,
I guess this
good.
was just like a good moment for me. Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, we
Well,
are.
here,
We all
we talk
have
a lot
that.
about like what you grow into, right? The things that you did badly that now you don't do anymore. But do you see anything in that writing that kind of defines you as a writer that you know has stayed with you? Like,
I
do
don't know, it's
you
hard to
see
figure
your
out your
voice in
own-
that, or
A
you're like,
little
that was
bit.
another
Well, it's
person?
like, so if you have, so for example, like when you write a book, you have a voice, right?
Yeah.
You have the author voice. I've had somebody like tell me what mine is because it's hard to tell like,
Right.
what your
Right.
own voice is. So like I had a friend tell me, like, oh, you actually have a pretty formal voice when you write. I'm like, do I? Like, I never thought I did.
Mhm.
But that might be because I used to really want to write big epic fantasies because that's what I read. And I
Mhm.
didn't want to write young adult, and I always thought I had a very young adult voice, so I always tried to break my young adult voice, so maybe
Yeah.
that's why it
That
comes
makes
off as
sense.
formal. Though this isn't that formal,
yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully I have good jokes in my current books. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I could also like never actually write comedy. Like I can't write comedy. That's why most
Oh,
of my
really?
bad stuff, it's like I don't want to share this because
Oh.
someone's getting tortured or something. You
That's
know?
comedy.
Because like I'm like that's
Can
sad.
be. It can be. It can be.
Yeah.
You know.
I will say though that I feel like the piece does what you intended it for it to do. It's Mary
Yeah.
Sue fanfic, and
I
that's,
forgot I had
that's
even
okay.
written
Yeah.
it. I was just
Yeah.
looking through stuff because you asked me for
Oh,
some
yeah.
garbage. So I was just like, I didn't even remember I'd written it.
Oh,
So-
Yeah,
that's
you-
the
It
was a
best stuff.
surprise. It
You're
was
like,
a nice
oh.
surprise.
It's
Yeah.
delightful that it still exists. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you had it.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that she yells, I hope it doesn't take me to another world.
That'll be the title of the episode.
Oh no! This thing that's happening, I know it's happening.
But I hope it doesn't.
Oops. We're gonna wrap up this episode. Charlie, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
You
having
have,
me.
you have been a delight.
Yeah.
I wish we could read more of your stuff. Wish we had more time.
Honestly, I just wish we had a podcast where we could just read your books because
Oh my
I know, right?
Those are called audiobooks.
yeah. I'd love to just sit in on an audiobook reading so I could be like, could you go back, please? I was confused. Not because the writing was bad, but because I wasn't paying attention. Please rewind. Dear sir.
reading.
Yeah. And go check out our book.
Yes.
Smoke and Summons is the first in the latest trilogy. And you can find everything on Amazon.
Amazon's the fastest way to get it.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you so
Seriously.
much.